Hello. I am so excited to be doing this episode video wherever you're watching. I actually recorded a whole video on this topic and I accidentally deleted it. Um, I was so bummed when I saw that I deleted it, but I'm actually at the same time grateful because to me I'm like, well, if I deleted it, it means that I need to redo it, and there's going to be something better that I share here. I already can tell my energy is better than the last one I did because, well, if you can't tell in my voice, I've been sick. And the last video that I recorded on this topic, I had a sore throat. So I was kind of like pushing through, and I'm on the other side of sickness now. I'm congested. You can probably hear it. Um, but I have so much more energy today. My energy is just in a better place. So I think that I was meant to redo this topic and video for a reason. I have more things that I want to go in depth on and share on. So everything happens for a reason, and we are going to dive into everything nervous system. I want you to walk away from this episode, this video, if you're watching on YouTube, knowing whether or not you need to address your nervous system. I want you to have confidence in knowing whether or not your system is stuck in a dysregulated state, if it is stuck in survival mode, so that you can address it and start to take action if that is you. But I really want to dive into um, more on this, but also why it is such a I've seen it being talked about a lot more now, which is funny because it's like everything I'm teaching and what I'm talking about. I don't know if I'm just like seeing more of what I'm talking about or if other people are seeing this, but I see so many people talking about nervous system, regulating your nervous system, and talking about dysregulating your nervous system and being stuck in survival mode, all of those things. I'm seeing more of that on social media, more people talking about it, which is a good thing because more people need to be aware of it and need to understand it more so that they know how to better support and take care and heal their own nervous system. So, I want to start just by talking about why we are seeing so much of this in our society right now as we speak, because we can take a look at our history and ask ourselves, well, why wasn't anxiety and depression and all of these mental health disorders and all of these autoimmune disorders and all of these diseases that we're seeing, especially in women, why are we seeing it skyrocket all of a sudden now in the society that we live in? And I want to address the fact that in the last 50 years or so, women have basically received, like, been able to, um, they have all of these rights now, right? When you look back, upon our evolution, like, women never used to have the rights to work, the rights to have their own money, the rights to, buy their own cars, buy their own homes, have their own credit cards, have their own bank accounts, like all of these things that we have today. We can acknowledge, like, we are treated equally in our society when it comes to being able to do everything that a man can do. We are now like legally allowed to do it, right? And that's all happened in the last, hold on, in the last 15 to 100 years of this lifetime right now. The thing that no one really addresses or talks about is, before all of this came to be, before we like legally could do all of these things in our evolutionary history, we take a look at what were we doing before we had all of this. Well, it was more of the women's role to be the caretaker of the home, to be the caretaker of the family. We had a role that was very much around, we were keeping emotional stability within the family. We were nurturing the family. We, as women, provide a very feminine essence to our family dynamic, to our household. And that was the primary role for women when you take a look at our evolution. Now, in today's day and age, we are still technically like the role, we are seen as that role still, right? We still are considered like the caretakers of our family. We provide that nurturing essence. We, clean, we cook. Technically, I'm not saying that every single family is like this, but I'm saying that that is still our underlying role. But now, on top of that, we've added on basically kind of like the masculine role in our family dynamic as well, because women are allowed to go to work, and for most families, mothers do have jobs. Mothers are contributing financially to the household in some way. But that doesn't mean, and I'm speaking again to the majority, I'm not saying that every single family dynamic is like this, but although we've taken on these new roles, we haven't reduced any of our existing roles. Now, looking back at the roles for men in our evolution, men have always been in that role that we are now stepping into. Men have always been the providers. Men have always been um, the protectors of our household. Men have always been the one that goes out of the home and does the labor, does the whatever they need to do to make sure our family survives, while the women stay in the home, are taking care of the family, are taking care of the home, making sure everyone's fed, again, providing that nurturing, whereas the men were providing this protection, and we're more in that like mindset of how do I make sure my family survives. You see the different roles based on our evolutionary history. Now, the society that we live in today, the structure of our workforce is very much a masculine structure, because that's how men operate. They are used to the 24-hour cycle. Women have a monthly cycle. It's very, very different. Men go to work every single day. They go and do labor. It's very like, for most jobs, there's not a lot of emotion to it. They're just doing what they have to do. Um, and therefore, it's more designed for the masculine energy. And now, women who are naturally a feminine essence, men and women both have masculine and feminine energy, but women more so lean on the feminine. They are thrown into this masculine structure and are expected to like be able to keep up with the demands of all of it. Now, I'm not saying that women can't do that, but here's the thing that I don't think a lot of women understand is that they are going into this masculine structure on top of this underlying role that they have within the home, and they don't know how to come back to their feminine because they are going to this masculine structure every single day, having to do what they need to do to survive. When you look at our evolutionary history, if a woman had to move into her masculine energy for survival, it was because her masculine energy that was keeping her alive, like protecting her and already in that survival role, something might have happened where she had to step into that role because it was life or death. It was either I have to step into this role that my provider can no longer do for me, And we are capable of doing that. We needed to be able to do that in case something like that happened in order to survive. But you see what I'm saying? It's for survival. Now we are living in a structure where women are thrown into that type of lifestyle that our bodies are just not as naturally created for. Therefore, it is putting our nervous system in the state of survival because we are living in a structure that naturally will force us to turn on different hormones, shut off other hormones, and it's creating this huge imbalance in our system because it's not how we were naturally designed to live. On top of that, we are trying to, maybe not all of us, but many of us are still trying to fulfill our roles in the home where we are taking care of our children. We're trying to put food on the table because somebody's got to do it. We're trying to keep the home clean and orderly on top of doing like a man's role. You see what I'm saying? And again, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with women working. There's nothing wrong with a woman having her own business. I have my own business, but not understanding how to shift from your feminine to your masculine energy when it's necessary and how to actually train safety in your body and teach your nervous system that you are actually safe. You are not actually in a state of survival. You are not in a life or death situation. It takes a lot of intention. And this is very new for us, right? Again, I said in the last 50 to 100 years, women have gained all of these legal rights, all of these new things that we can do in our life. But our evolution, our DNA has not caught up to that. Therefore, it's still existing in this how it has always existed. And our nervous systems are like being completely thrown off and dysregulated. And a way to know if your system is dysregulated or it's literally like stuck in survival is you will experience anxiety. You will experience chronic stress. You will experience this like huge mass feeling of overwhelm. You may struggle to get regular sleep. You may end up having hormonal imbalances. You may end up with an autoimmune disease. Like there are so many symptoms that show up for women that is a direct sign of my nervous system is not regulated. My nervous system is stuck in survival because of the systems that we are living in today. We're not naturally designed for them. Think of it. The system today does not let a mother who has just birthed her child, some places don't even allow you or give you the opportunity to stay home with your newborn child for more than a certain period of time. When in our evolutionary history, that that was never a thing. Mothers were there with their newborn child, especially in the first 3 years of their life. That is a huge time for development, and they need to be with their mother. And yet our system says you get 3 months if you're lucky. If you're lucky, you get 3 months with your newborn child. But then you need to go back and get to work. And your child needs to go be raised and taken care of by someone else. Again, I'm not blaming anyone. Like the system is setting us up for failure. So, if anything, I'm blaming the system. It's wrong. My goal in this is to help you, is to empower you to take back control of your body and your nervous system as it is trying to handle and live in this system today. Because what will start to happen is if you do not take the time to take care of your nervous system and to get it out of survival, you will experience disease in the body. Your health will decline. It is inevitable. You cannot live in a state of survival forever. And that's where, again, you're starting to see these autoimmune diseases. We're starting to see these mental health disorders. We're seeing hormonal imbalances. Women aren't able to get pregnant. It's like, do we need to start looking at the statistics? What's happening in our women? And I don't say this to scare you. I say this because you have the power to heal from within. The doctors, the pharmacies, they're not on your side to heal. They're on your side to treat. It's all one big system working together that is not created for the actual success and well-being of a human being. It's not created and designed for that. We're living in a system that is not looking out for our best interest. So my goal is to help you wake up. My goal is to help you take back your own power. There is power. You have healing powers and superpowers within you that I want you to take ownership of, and I want you to step into them. And one of the first steps in doing that is getting out of survival. Because if you are in survival, that is your most animal, primal instinct being. We also have God within us. God is within every single one of you because we are created in the likeness of Him. But when you are in animal primal mode, you are not going to be able to access Him, because here's the thing. If you are, let's compare the two state of beings. We have our survival instincts and way of being for survival. That's what they're there for. It's for to keep you alive. But understand that we're not just a mind and a body. We are also a soul. Our essence is our soul, and our soul comes from God. On the other end of the survival spectrum, if you want to call it that, we have our divine self, right? Think of like Mother Teresa or Jesus or Buddha, like all of these incredible people who were very divine. When you think about their state of being and existing, do you think of them being in a state of survival, of anxiety, of lack of trust, of overwhelm, of hustle? No. You think of them as peace, as safety, as calm, which is the exact opposite of survival. So therefore, they're on completely different ends of the spectrum. And if you are in survival mode, you're not going to be able to hear God, not in the way that you can in a calm, peaceful state, because survival is basically, it's tuning out certain parts of your brain. When you think about emergency situations, let's say you're actually in a life or death situation, you don't have time to think, you just do. Your body responds in a way where it takes over. And if you're stuck in survival, your nervous system, regardless of if life or death is happening, that is what is going on in the body. Your body is taking control. Your soul is like completely background noise at that point. You're not going to be able to hear it because you're tuning it out. Your body is tuning it out because you have to do what you need to do to survive. And that's why we need to get our nervous system, like, this is the first step that I teach in any of my work. This is the first step. You've got to get out of survival. Because if you're going to awaken to who you're truly meant to be, you're going to embody her, you're going to step into your divine power that is already within you. You have to be able to get out of survival so that you're no longer tuning that portion of you out. Because currently, right now, you're tuning it out. Your body is in control. Your mind, your subconscious mind is in control. You're not actually in control, because your mind and your body are a system working together to keep you alive. That is what your mind and your body does. But we all know that you are more than a mind and a body. You are a soul with a mind and a body. But if you are not intentional, you will allow your mind and body to run the course of your life for the next 70 to 80 years, however long you are here, and your soul will always just be background noise. And I know that you want more for yourself. I know that you are meant for more than just living a life like that, than repeating the same 50 years over and over again with no purpose, with no fulfillment, with no passion. And I've been on the other side of that healing, really experiencing what life can truly feel and be like when you are so connected with your soul, you are so connected to God. It is like creating heaven on earth. And I know it only can get better. I know it only gets better from here. But you cannot experience that in a state of survival. Your body, your mind will not allow you to, because it doesn't feel safe. So what I am doing, I am opening something up in 2 weeks from today, which today is July 8th. I am opening up a 7-day challenge called the Nervous System Reset. This is introducing you into how to regulate your nervous system. And it's not about us taking an hour every single day for the next 7 days to work with our nervous system. No, this is showing you how you are going to start to prioritize your nervous system in short amount. Okay, I got cut off due to low storage. Love when that happens. But as I was saying, we are going to introduce how to actually start taking care of your nervous system in a way that is very doable for your schedule. Because I know, I just explained the entire structure of how our society is set up. I know that you are busy. I know that you have very little time for yourself. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this position that you're in today. I know that. This reset, this 7-day challenge, is to help you start to introduce nervous system work and how you can integrate it into day-to-day life. I've had clients who have been working with me, and we do so much nervous system healing in all of my courses and all of my programs. But I have one woman who is so busy. She is so busy from the minute she gets out of bed to the minute she goes back to bed. She is just like jam-packed with so much. And she has been able to integrate what we've been doing in the pockets of time that she has, including her commute to her job, her commute, picking up kids from practice and different sports and everything. She has been able to use the healing and integrative work that we are teaching and be able to still apply it in her busy schedule. So just understand that this reset, this 7-day challenge, is not meant to be another to do on your list. I don't want anyone coming into this challenge with that mindset, because that is the exact opposite of what I'm trying to show you. Because nervous system is stuck in survival is dysregulated because of all of your to-do lists, because of the hustle, because of the constant having to do more and more and more. This practice is learning how to slow down in the chaos. It's understanding and recognizing when your body needs a moment and what to do in those moments to bring it back down, to increase your window of tolerance for the things that happen in your life. It will increase your window of tolerance to be able to handle things in your life in a much calmer capacity. But until you get out of survival, you won't be able to do that. And everything, all of the work that I teach is built off of a healed nervous system. All of the work that I teach, it is more than getting you out of survival. It is getting you way beyond survival. Obviously, the first step is getting out of survival, but in my body of work, we not only get out of survival, but we expand beyond what we even believe is capable for ourselves. We level up so deeply, so powerfully, that we become a completely transformed and new version of ourselves, the one that we know is within us. It becomes who you are. And you end up walking around pouring from this overflowing cup because you're so regulated, you're so in tuned, you're so in your body again, that you can't help but naturally exude positivity into the world and do the things that light you up and be rewarded for that. God rewards you for living out your purpose and your passions and the things that give you joy. He rewards you for that. I've seen it. I have tons of people in my network and in my friend, like just with my friends, that follow their passions and trust that their passions are here to bless people, and God rewards them for that. And that can be you too. So if you listen to this and you resonated with it and you want to check out the 7-day challenge, it is $7. It is only going to be $7 to join the 7-day challenge. And the reason I did that was because I want you to show up for yourself. I know that sometimes when people do things for free, they just, because there's not an equal exchange in value, they don't get out of it what they may get out of it by having some kind of exchange in value. So that's the reason why I'm charging $7. I also am charging something because I want to encourage you to show up for the 7 days, take it a little bit more seriously. But honestly, like, I could be charging way more than $7 for the work that we're going to be doing in this reset. If you have been someone who has done any of my in-person experiences, you've jumped on any kind of call that I've hosted or masterclass or anything like that, you understand the amount of value that you get when you are a part of those things. People experience breakthroughs, people experience shifts within themselves in these calls, in these in-person things that we do. So know that when you do and sign up for this challenge, you are going to experience a shift. You are going to be awakened in some way. And if you're being pulled towards this challenge, you're thinking about it, that is your intuition or your guide pulling you towards healing. Because our guides, our soul is always pulling us towards deeper healing because it wants us to reconnect back to it. And the way that we do it is we overcome the physical reality. We overcome the mind and the body that our soul is trapped in. That is how we reconnect back to our soul and further deepen that relationship. So your guide is always going to be steering you towards deeper connection with itself, which is ultimately healing and self-empowerment and inner work. So if you are interested in trying this challenge, I highly recommend it. It is a great way to get started and try out the type of work that I teach my clients and students in my programs and different containers that we do. And it's only $7. So you will have access to it beyond the 7 days. You can continue using the tools and resources that will be put in there beyond the 7 days. In fact, I encourage you to, because you're going to experience a shift within the 7 days if you commit to it. But imagine what you will imagine the change and the impact that you will experience if you go beyond the 7 days. You will notice change in your life. You will start to notice your transformations, your breakthroughs, and your micro shifts that you will experience in your day to day. And that is just from doing tiny spurts of work throughout your day. So I hope to see you in there. I am so excited to be putting this challenge on for the 7 days in July. We kick off, I believe it's July 27th, but I'll make sure to put it in the description, how you can join, when it is. And again, if you don't get in when we do it live, you will still be able to join and participate at your own pace, at your own time. So it will be available even beyond the live challenge that we are doing. So I hope to see you in there, and I will see you in the next one.